Does anyone here not know what chakras are? Oh, Houdini's typing. I'm going to wait for him before I continue. Okay. You know only theoretically. So you don't think they're real. Okay. Or I might be misreading that completely. But anyway. Okay. So the one thing that I was taught was that to open your chakras, to get more energy flowing, you want to imagine the root chakra, the bottom chakra, all the way to the top. You want to imagine them. The person there said specific colors. I think that it would just work if you use whatever colors come to mind. But imagine a ball of light in there, in your body, in the middle, like directly in the middle, between your pelvis and in your pelvis, basically, right above your pelvis. And you want to imagine whatever color it comes to be, and imagine that spinning that ball. For me, it starts working when it becomes more disc shaped, but it might not be for you. But you want to spin it, and the more you spin it, it should start humming. You should start hearing humming, and that humming is that chakra opening. Then you do that for each one going up, and that for me is how I open my chakras. I don't know if I ever did, but that is what I did. And the one thing about energy is that you don't make any energy if your chakras aren't open. And when I say open, I don't mean usable. I mean if your chakras are closed, you're not making any energy. So, or you are not being able to use that energy. So, opening your chakras, I would say, is the first thing to do with energy work, just to make it a ton easier. Like to give you an example, I'll compare it to guitar. I have a guitar in my room that I bought for $199, and before this guitar, I was using another guitar, and I was struggling to learn. I was struggling to do any kind of anything because the guitar that I was using, the strings were too high off of the fretboard, and so it just made everything harder, and I ended up kind of just giving up. This new guitar, strings are much closer to the fretboard, and it's much easier to play, and it's much easier to even do bar chords. And I say that to say that that's similar to your chakras. If your chakras are closed, you can probably still learn this, but if they're open, it'll just help you a lot more. And so you do that spinning thing for each of the going up into your head. And so after you've done that, then you just kind of imagine the energy and kind of play with it. And I guess if you've never done energy work, my biggest recommendation is to just play with the energy. Play with it in your mind, play with using it, mess around with it. And messing around with it is the best way I'm sorry, I was too far away. Messing around with it, to me, is the best way to learn. And Kasapu is posting, I don't know what they're called, but like things that you hum for each chakra, I think. Mantras, thank you. Okay. So, it's fine. I'm now going to move on to more advanced energy work. And the way that I do, so a lot of people, I think, have seen my remote orgasms, right? All I do with that is just basic energy work, for me at least. It might not be basic for y'all. And I don't say that to be cocky. I'm just saying I didn't try and it just happened. So for me, it's where I started. But all I do is I imagine the energy. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Okay. To start, sorry. Okay, here we go. I got it. So the way that I do the remote orgasms is I imagine a sensation of pleasure or whatever. I get that image, and I send that image. I imagine that sensation going to the other person. And while I'm imagining that, I imagine a stream of light, color, going to that person. And 9 times out of 10 it works. There are some people who it doesn't work on, and I don't know why yet. But 9 times out of 10 that works. And that's actually what I did earlier with you guys. The cool thing about this is that because I do it, because it's so simple, even though I haven't done it yet, this can be used aggressively. It can be used positively. It can be used for healing. It can be used for anything. If you can learn to use energy just like you think, you can get into some crazy stuff. So I guess that's how I do the remote orgasms, is I imagine that sensation and I send it to the person. Now the problem with that is I don't know how to help you do it if it doesn't work for you, because I was just able to do it. So that's kind of where my knowledge ends. But one thing I think would be helpful to keep in mind for beginners is that making it hard or making it complicated can have the opposite effect of making it easier. Sometimes the simple method is the way to go. And I personally enjoy the simple method much more than the complicated ones, just because, like I said before, it leaves a whole lot of room for versatility, and that I think is the most important thing. So, are there any questions now that I've said a lot of things? Spirits who help with energy work. I don't know any. I'm gonna be completely honest. My advice would be go on BALG or become a living god and just use the search function. Oh wait, a question. Okay, Roast asks. Okay, Houdini asks. Okay, I'm. Oh, oh, I see. Houdini, about the succubuses for sexual energy. Yes, technically, but that's not who I would pick, because succubuses are very emotional creatures as well. So you wouldn't want to just use them for teaching. You can, but it would be a lot easier, in my opinion, to go with someone else. Uh, Casper has something to say, I think. There we go. The Elemental Kings can teach you how to work with energy. So King Peralta, um, hey, I don't know any other than him. King Peralta is actually my elemental energy. I am a very wind guy, so I can probably even channel him maybe if anyone needs to. But yep, Flory's saying Gob, and Jin. I don't know what a Gob is, but I do know what a Jin is, or Jean. I should pronounce it correctly. And Roast talks to King Paimon. Okay, so first off, I guess I'll say what a Cyball is. I'm putting my phone down. It's basically the real world version of a Kamehameha wave. Is the way I like to describe it. It is what Dragon Ball Z. If you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, I'll explain it a different way. It is what Dragon Ball Z tried to say. Energy was. Okay, so energy is what makes up the universe. This is a basic, not a basic. This is one of the fundamental truths of the universe, both scientifically and magically. Um, Everything is energy. The equation E equals mc squared can actually be used to find the energy of an object. For instance, if we were able to convert an average oak tree's into if we were to convert the average oak tree into pure energy from its mass, it would be able to power the entirety of the United States for about 10 years. Um, Actually, I think it's 4 years and 4 months, but that's just how much energy is in a tree. Um, I think the statistic is in 1 grain of salt, there's enough pure energy to power a house for 10 years. Um, So energy is everywhere. It is everything. So now to link that into a Cyball, you are with a Cyball, you are taking the energy that naturally flows through your body, sending it out from your hands and morphing it into a ball. And this is basically how you learn to manipulate energy pretty well. So, if everyone could put their hands about, so put your hands to each side of your head, and then embed idea. I just put my phone down. I'm sorry. Yes, you can, but I'll get to that in a minute. So everybody put your hands to both sides of your head, and then move them down in front of you, and then put them into like you're cradling a ball, not cradling, holding. So after you've done this, so imagine gathering energy at this into your heart, or actually not exactly your heart, into the middle of your chest. Imagine either a fire or like a lake or something, some sort of energy well, and just imagine that. And once you have that imagine two streams going out from both sides, out into your shoulders, down into your elbows, and then out through your hands. And hold them in your hands. Don't push it out yet. Whenever you've held it in your hands for a decent amount of time, focus on that visualization, and then send it out in between your hands. Okay, bye, Kasapu. Send it out in between your hands. And once you've done that, your hand should start to feel sort of warm. Now, imagine morphing that energy into a ball. And once you can do that, you've created a Cyball. And once you get really good at it, you might even be able to see it. The really good guys, you can see it on camera. Like, not fully, but you can see, like, blurs. So that's Cyball. That's kind of the basics of energy. So everyone who's here, go ahead and do that for me, and tell me in the chat what you felt. And I'll do it too. Okay, Flory. I'm pretty sure the pressure in the hands or on the hand? Okay, that's good. And slight change of head pressure. Ordo, try and send it more down your arms. Alright, you guys can stop now. So that was really good. You all basically just, except for Ordo, you all created a Cyball. I don't know why Ordo had head pressure change, but that doesn't mean he was doing something. I'm being quiet because I'm looking at text, by the way. No, you weren't. You're supposed to push it down your arms, out to your elbows, into your hands, and then make a ball. I have never done Kundalini because I'm terrified of it, because I've heard that it destroys your body. So I've stayed away from Kundalini. Now, okay, I'm not saying don't do Kundalini. I'm just saying I personally have never done it. What can we do after Cyballs?